Hello, I couldn't spend too much time doing game dev in the last 3 weeks because I'm in the process of moving into a new apartment, which you can see here. But anyway, here's what I managed to do in the limited time I had. I didn't want to stray away too far from the 3D stuff I worked on last time, so I went into more detail on that. I modeled a crossbow for a simple first-person shooter game. When I saw the crossbow in game, I immediately wanted to work on a witch hunter type character. Inspired by shows and films like Van Helsing, Helsing, Vampire Hunter D, and many more, I got to work. I took the base mesh I worked on for the last video and added some clothes to it. I went step by step for each piece of clothing. I duplicated the chest mesh to create the shirt, I duplicated the leg mesh to create the pants, and so on. I'm still not good enough to create a character in the detail I'm envisioning, but I'm getting closer. I'm getting more comfortable in working with simple 3D characters, clothes and armor, and even won my first battle with weight painting, which was a pain. Now that I had the basic clothing, I just tried to animate it a bit and realized that by copying the meshes and turning them into the clothing pieces, the armature data was copied as well, and the clothes were already animating, which was amazing. I still don't really know what I'm doing. I was kind of lucky that it worked out that way. I had to adjust some of the weights, so I took a look in the weight painting options, clicked on each specific bone, and took a look at what kind of clothing piece were influenced by each bone, and had to repaint the weights a bit. But in general, it was quite good, except for the cloak. The cloak was the worst part of the whole thing, and it wouldn't look right when the character moves. It would just be really janky. And in the end, I had to add additional bones for the cloak and animate them separately, and paint the weight on the cloak bones essentially, and then it was all right. The character still looks quite stiff, and I'm probably doing most of the steps wrong, but hey, I got an animated character now. I then exported the mesh as a GLB with selected objects checked on and the materials, and imported it in Godot, and it worked fine, except for the skeleton. And I realized this when I wanted to attach a weapon anchor for where I could child the weapon 3D meshes I had lying around too. The problem was that I didn't see the hand bone. And it wasn't only the hand bone, but also the head and the feet. So the last bone in each chain was missing. I didn't really know why until I dove deeper into the Blender export settings, and I found out you could check the leaf bones as well. This resulted in an export which included every bone of the skeleton, and I could see all of them in Godot. Now that I could see all the bones, I could better debug the issue I had where the weapon anchor object, just a normal node 3D, was in a position kind of off to the characters. It was just flying around and I didn't know why. And now that I saw where the bone was, I could fix the problem better. I proceeded to attach the weapon anchor via script to the hand bone, and I was quite happy with this dynamic method of attaching it, because if I had attached it in the hierarchy as a bone attachment 3D to the hand bone, I would have to do this every time I edited and re-imported the GLB, because I did some adjustments to the mesh and I had to re-import the mesh and I had to delete the previous one, and so I was quite happy with the code attachment variant. I also worked on a toon shader, which is still a work in progress. It's quite simple, and my goal with this is to create a toon style but pretty dark, and I'm not quite sure how I'm really going to accomplish this because I'm not there yet. It feels like I have to just tweak and experiment a bit with this to really get where I want it to be, and I'm also removing the lights from the scene, so every light is turned down. There's dynamic lights only influence characters and points of interest and not the environment for now. And I also added fog. What I'm trying to accomplish with this is a quite gloomy atmosphere in a toon-ish kind of style. And I don't even know if this is a good style to go for, but maybe. So I just kind of want to try it out. Then I realized I only have character models and some environment and no enemies or NPCs. And I quickly worked on a Wendigo type character. I scribbled it on a paper and used it as a reference in Blender and loosely modeled a mesh after this sketch and added it into Godot without any bones or animations yet. I just did it yesterday. So yeah, it's still a work in progress. Working on this Wendigo type character showed me that I got better at Blender because I'm way faster than I was before and I'm using way more keybinds and I can work on the character more and I'm not too much held back by the tools or looking up the options I have to do something. I can just work on it and iterate. And I hope I can improve in the other aspects as well. So rigging is next and then animation and weight painting, of course. Then putting it in Godot and then work on a state machine for the enemy to do something in game. So that's all I have for now. I hope I can put out more content soon. I still have a lot to do at the new apartment, but I am, motivated to work on this dark witch hunter kind of prototype game. Yeah, so if you're interested as well, feel free to tune in again. And until next time, bye.